Learn how first.
Yeah, okay. That'll give you a project. Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, one thing we're trying to do is figure out that, I talk to my uncle and he tells me about all the relatives, but I never get it written down, or if I do, I get it confused.
Forget it.
So I figured it might be easier just to sit there and, ask you like, who are your brothers and sisters?
Yeah.
Who was your mom and dad? Who were their brothers and sisters?
Yeah.
Because that way, we've got it on tape. We can go back and look at it anytime we want.
It's a good idea.
So we thought maybe if you had some time, you could just sort of walk through, where you were born, where you grew up,
Okay.
and just stuff like that if you don't mind.
Oh, yeah, that's what Steve wants me to do.
Oh, good.
Well, we can give you a copy if we get it all done then.
We'll just send you a DVD and you mail it to Steve.
I got the player.
Okay.
Okay, we can do that.
Yeah.
So, somebody's going to have to talk. I can't talk. Lauren, Mom.
Mom. I don't know what he wants.
Well, we just want anything like, tell us like maybe how you got started painting, how your interest grew in that. So I think those are all interesting things
you
we'd like to know about.
You remember your grandpa, don't you?
Uh-huh.
Okay. I come in from the hospital, working. He said, come here. And I went over and he had the newspaper out, and the artist was standing. She was in the country, had her easel up, painting a landscape. And she was wanting pictures, wanting people to paint pictures. So there were 20 of us. And he said, I want you to call her, make an appointment, and go. He said, you bought enough supplies for the world. He said, go. Do your thing. So I'm done.
Was that before the kids? That was after the kids.
After everybody was out but Karen.
Okay.
She was still in there.
Ah.
Uh-huh. But I was born in Sepulveda, which is not far from here. And I had a twin brother that was killed at 34. A car hit him at Barstow, California, and knocked him 50 foot. And he had a baby 3 days old.
Oh, gosh.
Can you imagine that?
No.
And he was 6'4", weighed 190 pounds. And there I was, 118 pounds, barely 5'1". Anyhow, I had big feet.
Firm understanding.
Yes, foundation. I still got that.
So when was your birthday?
6/15/18.
15, 18.
Mm-hmm.
And Leroy,
87.
is that your twin brother's
Yeah,
name?
his is
Leroy?
Leroy, and mine was Leora, and they call me Lee here.
Okay. Do you have a middle name?
Anna.
Anna.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah. And I had an older sister, which they wound up calling her Aunt Ski. The kids did. Her name was Velma, Lolita, which she'd say that and then just laugh. Lolita, she'd say. And then I had a brother that they named him Howard, and he was working in the oil field, and he's a rig builder, and he fell 86 foot. He seen he's going to go, so he kicked as hard as he could and got away from the bottom. You know, it's always bigger down there. And he landed between two concrete blocks, and all it did was break a hip.
Oh, gosh.
That's it. And then I had a sister that, Lucille, and she married Alfred Berry, and then she had a second baby and developed spinal meningitis. And she wrote us a letter, and she said, I'm going to die, but I want to come home. So Dad got the ambulance, and the woman drove it to pick her up, brought her back. She did die, but she was at home
made
and
it
she
home.
did it, yeah. And then a few years later, he married Aunt Ski. So he had two of them. And I told him I'd never marry him because I knew too much about him. He just laughed when I tell him that. It's funny. But,
Were you the youngest?
Yeah, yeah. I was born last, and we weighed we were 5 pounds, 4.5 to 5 pounds. Little.
Little tiny.
And Mom and Dad worked at the glass factory in Sapulpa. It's still going. Isn't that neat? Still going. So then we moved to Missouri, and that's where I met Ed, your grandpa. And we got married. So, and you know the brood we had.
A lot of kids.
Yeah, we had a big family, 4 boys and 4 girls. But the baby, she had a congenital heart, died 6 months. She'd born and they tried to get me to leave her in the hospital. They said she couldn't live. Her heart was damaged. I had x-rays when I was pregnant, didn't know it, and that messed her up. And, but we rented the incubator from the hospital and brought her home, kept her 6 months and 2 days. And she got so spoiled. She would cry, and I'd go to the window. I could, you know, it had the drop leaf to take care of her. And as long as I was there, she could see me, she'd hush. But I just got to hold her, to feed her, and that's it. 6 months.
Because at that time, Karen and Mike were both still home, right?
Mhm.
Was
They
anybody
were all
else
in
home?
school. Don was in college.
Don-
And Carolyn and Bill were in college. And Mike, Lloyd was a senior, and Mike was a freshman. And Karen was in grade school. And we had them everywhere.
So tell me again the order. Mary.
Ruth,
Okay.
and then Don,
Okay.
and then Carolyn, and then Bill, and then Lloyd, and then Mike, and then Karen, and then Sue Lane.
Okay.
She was our baby. And the boys would come in often. They'd come in from college, and they'd check her if she's wet. Well, they'd change her diaper, give her a bottle. They really worried about her. She was 6 months old, but boy, she left a hole. You know, and she wasn't with us no more. That's life.
Hard to be made.
Yeah, you're not supposed to do that. No, I said, you're not supposed to outlive your kids. You just don't. That should be a law.
Yep.
I think I'll start it.
Well, you won't have trouble passing the legislation. I
No.
don't know what we're gonna do about it, but.
Yeah. They probably all agree with me.
And I do remember Grandma. I mean, I remember her face.
Yeah, Mom and Dad. Mom was a Cody. And her dad, they called him Jato. His name was James. And he was Justice of the Peace 40 years in Mountain Home, Arkansas. And they had 4 boys and 5 girls. And Mom was the middle one. And they met in Mountain Home, and they were going, her Dad didn't want her to go, Grandpa didn't want her to get married, because he wasn't a native. He'd come in from Illinois, you know, he was one of the hot shots.
Yeah.
You know how they feel. And she didn't want no one else, so they were going to elope. And as they got on the horse and took off, they met her dad around the bend of the road. He said, "Where are you going?" She said, "We're going to elope and get married." He said, "Oh hell, come on back." He said, "You can get married here." It was funny. So they got married, and they had the 5 children. And
So where was Grandpa from? Grandpa was,
Grandpa Reese,
Grandpa Salmon.
Salmon, Illinois.
Illinois.
Yeah, he come in from there. But Grandpa Cody, my grandpa, he fought in the war, and he had an eye shot out.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah.
In the
they
Civil
left-
War?
Civil War, and they left him to die. They took the guys around, and he crawled a mile. And when he'd pass out, that was bleeding, and he'd drink that blood to get strength enough to live. And so they got him and fixed him up. And his wife, that was when they had the flu, And he had 2 children, and they both died of the flu.
Oh, gosh.
And his wife died before he could get there. And he wanted to bury the family, and they wouldn't let him. So he got on the horse, and on the way to the cow lot to get his horse, he saw 2 little footprints, and he took a big rock. I'm sorry. He put it on he covered him up. He took off. And that's when he went to Arkansas.
It's his way of saying goodbye, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't want those prints messed up. So he said there's a big flat rock. Said about that thick. And he just laid it over those little prints. Took off. Isn't that
Be hard,
something?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And he got on the horse, and they never did see him no more. He left his farm, his house open, the barn. He opened the gates for the cattle to get out, go where they could. So that was Grandpa Cody. And he was a strong German, what he was, German. And he was strong. And Buffalo Bill, he was a 6th cousin to Buffalo Bill. And he come down there one time and made a show. And of course they all got to go. And in the meantime, the adults all run up there, and pushed her back. She didn't get to see the show. She said, all she saw was legs. Isn't that something?
It would be.
Yeah. Uh-huh. So I've been here 7 years, and I love it. I really do. I like it.
Oklahoma suits you fine.
I'm home. Almost got back where I was born.
Not too
Almost.
far away, yeah.
Yeah, not far. We're going up there Saturday to a play. It's a pulp. So it's going to be interesting. I've been up there once. I entered an art show there. And I didn't like the way they did them, so I was, and no one watching. And people come and go, and no one sitting. And I didn't like that. So not that they're so priceless, but
It's a lot of work.
there's a lot of money in them frames,
Yeah.
and all of it really.
They can't be duplicated.
No, I've got an awful lot of them scanned.
Good.
I've got a little book, and they're in it, and they can get the movie, the pictures, and get them finished. They're on canvas when they come out. So.
That's good.
So that's all I'm gonna tell you.
Where was Grandpa
Pretty
Reese from?
He's from Arkansas, Mammoth, Missouri. It's just right across the line.
Okay.
And he moved in. His dad moved him into Arkansas.
Okay.
And he had a brother. He always thought he was adopted, but he never was sure. The brother, because he never looked like the rest of them.
A throwback, huh?
Yeah, one of those Heinz 57. And he was the oldest. Ernest was, and then Everett, and then Earl. He had polio, and crippled him, and they got him in college, and he got an education, but the rest of them didn't. And Elmer, and then Ruby was the baby. She's a girl. And, but he was a smart man. If he could have had an education, he didn't even get to 3rd grade. When his mother died, he was 10 years old, and he had to drop out. He went 3 months in all, he said, the whole beginning and ending. Was all he had of education. And he learned to read and Shakespeare. That's the picture right there. That book is Shakespeare. And when we set him, he sat there two different times modeling the book, and there was 20 artists set up around him, had their easels around him. And so they gave me a choice of the view I wanted. That's my guy. So he could see the book. And, yeah, he was a smart. If he could have had an education, he'd have been a genius. Because, man, the work he did after he got out, you know, he'd measure the inches of barrel in a gun barrel, and big old barrels, how many gallons of oil and stuff. And, you know, it's stuff that you never think about. But he got it. So, he was a smart man.
He had that upholstery shop all
Yeah.
the time I can remember.
Well, see, when he retired, he said that he couldn't go to the pool hall and listen to them guys. He couldn't do it. And so he started that upholstery shop. And I had the footstool that he covered first thing he made. And it was pretty good. Better than I could do.
Yeah.
But he got to where his income was $2,000 and $3,000 a month. Now that's good
Yes.
for a self-taught. But they'd come from Wichita and Topeka with their antiques, and he would put the weld cord and match the stripes and go right down from his back to the seat and through the weld cord and then on down.
Wow.
He took a pride in that.
You don't see that very often
No,
anymore.
yeah. But they'd bring their stuff to him, and he'd brag about that.
Good.
Yeah, he's buried in Burton. When I'm gone, I'll be cremated.
Will you?
Yeah, I want to be cremated. My daughter-in-law, I said I want part of the ashes put on my second husband,
On jeans.
You met him. He was so much like Eb, it wasn't funny. And I said I want part of them on him and part of them on Eb. And my Celia said, yeah, Mom. She says, when the wind blows, we'll say, here comes Mom. And they come back, we'll say, there she goes.
Coming and going.
Yeah. So that was funny.
Well, it's funny.
Yeah. Here she is, there she goes. That's a rock house in Kansas. And it was close to Hoisington. And that picture, that one there is of Jim. I don't know how they pronounce his name.
Uh-huh.
But he played in the Passion movie. And that one I just made it up.
That's beautiful. I love all the subtle coloring.
And this one here is the Four Seasons. It has that's a real Rick Rack.